Hello and welcome to another episode, David, of A Quick Brew. And this one I'm really looking forward to. I'm really excited about. We've spoken about many episodes. We've spoken about AI, the advantages of AI, our concerns with AI. And we've had somebody talking about the positivity and the positive side of AI. But we all know that there is a more sinister side to it and a darker side. So you found this guest for us, and I'm really excited about this.
Absolutely. And welcome to all of our viewers, listeners. 30 seconds without me speaking there, which is probably a first ever on the pod. But yeah, really looking forward to this one as well. I first met this guest when he was on a panel that I was chairing. I think in a previous episode, I mentioned a Lighthouse IT event. So I'll be introducing in a moment Sasha Roshan. He's from Huntress, if you haven't heard of them, and I certainly won't be able to do them justice, but they are in essence a managed security platform, which is gaining significant traction currently, as I understand it, with small and mid-sized companies. So James, if it's okay with you, I think we should just go straight on, introduce Sasha into the room and get the chat started.
Let's do this.
Awesome stuff. Welcome, Sasha.
Thank you so much. Was not expecting that. That's brilliant. I'm sure it catches out everyone. Brilliant.
It would be wrong to tee it up. Yeah, but welcome to the chat, and welcome to the pod, Sasha. I've been, as James alluded a moment ago, I've been really looking forward to this episode since we've arranged for you to appear, and I'm confident there's going to be loads and loads of value, not just around the dark side of AI, but AI more generally as well. So yeah, really looking forward to this. If you wouldn't mind though, so as to frame you as a guest, would you mind just introducing yourself, who you are, who Huntress are?
Yeah, for sure. So a little bit about myself. I've been in cybersecurity for around 10 years. I studied cybersecurity, so actually went to university, did a degree in it, loved it so much, I wanted to continue doing it. So I've been a sales engineer for the past 3 to 4 years. Definitely the best job I've ever had because I get to be technical, which I always loved doing, but also being a bit salesy as well and having those sort of commercial conversations. One of the highlights of my job is going around the whole of Europe and just presenting, talking about cybersecurity, talking about Huntress, and then talking about things which is a new, obviously, topic that I love talking about. It's the dark side of AI, which we'll go through today. So I've been working for Huntress for around a year and 4 months now, which has gone super quick. And what I do there is do things like demonstrations. I do things like webinars, public speaking events, as we know, and going out and just educating the world about Huntress and cybersecurity. And what I love about Huntress is that it's designed for small to medium sized businesses, but also focusing on not just that 99%, but everybody as well, bringing cybersecurity to every sort of organization. We focus on endpoints, identities, we do security awareness training, and we have a latest solution, which is a SIEM solution. So all wonderful things, and we could definitely go through that in a moment. But just super happy to be here, I have to say, gentlemen.
I suppose that really helps as well. There's not many people that invest in researching the tech and educating themselves in the tech that have the qualities of a salesperson. So I bet you're a formidable force because you understand the technology. And half of the battle of sales is obviously having the belief in the product and having the understanding of it. So the fact that you're technically minded initially and wanted to go into the tech, and then you've ended up in this role, I bet that bodes well for you.
I've definitely found a role which I said I could definitely do this for the next 10 or 20 years and not be bored. So I am definitely found my happy space at the moment.
Well, it's especially with AI, and when it's sort of like focusing around AI and the conversations that we're talking about now, is because that's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Obviously, unless, as I've named myself, James T1000 Sharples, unless the inevitable happens and the T1000s do end up taking over the world.
Not just yet, hopefully. Certainly not just yet. One thing, Sasha,
Yes.
and again, I know what you're saying. You mentioned SIEM, so Security Information Event Management. There's going to be, I imagine, quite a few acronyms you use today.
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind just, for the audience, sharing what those acronyms stand for, I think that might also be useful as we navigate our way through. this chat. So yeah, great intro. I was going to say, James sounds like a terrible guest, doesn't he?
Mate, I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm going to fire in straight in one of the first questions. One of the things, in the world we're in now, in the 2025, we always see the amazing things AI can do.
Yeah.
We rarely talk about when it turns dark or the things that aren't so amazing that it can do. So can you give us a couple of examples as where, I suppose the hackers have been given the perfect tool, haven't they, in AI?
I
Have we
agree.
got any examples that average that?
I've got a few examples. AI is in a situation now that it's starting to get too smart. It's starting to get very scary. So we all know the benefits of ChatGPT, the wonderful things it can be able to do. I feel like I was in a room, New Scotland Yard, with their cybercrime division and doing a presentation on this as well. And we was asking, hey, what sort of the benefits that you see of AI? Hey, facial recognition, on the streets, trying to capture, people that should be arrested, etc. That's great. But I was also flipping it around. It's like, well, if I was a hacker, I know how to be able to create malware through AI. I can go on the dark web and I can start leveraging these AI tools, which are basically AI as a service. And I can start asking this AI model, hey, I want you to make me a script that could do X, Y, Z. And it will provide you the actual code itself and give you different suggestions. Do you want it to do X or Y? Hey, we can also provide you this particular code that does even this as well. The scary thing is that AI is endless. The ideas are endless as well. And it's never been easy in 2025 to create new malware, which is why I always try to educate. If you're utilizing an antivirus, just be wary, just be cautious that you are much more high risk than somebody who's utilizing something like an endpoint detection and response, which is an EDR. So it is very scary. It's very easy as well. And I've got some examples I'd love to show you whenever you guys are ready.
Definitely. It's so true in what you're saying. Sorry, it's so true in what you're saying, though. Like, for example, I've been using AI recently for those administrative tasks. So, say, for example, you say, right, I want to do a video talking about a letter K in an A to Z of leadership series. Give me some options of what you would talk about. So it brings up all the options, kindness, so and so, so and so. But then afterwards, it goes just like you were saying. Would you like me to do this? It'll say, do you want me to generate you a script? Do you want me to generate a resource, a free resource, and like an image or a graph? Today, it gives you loads of options it wants to do afterwards. So, to think that it's then offering those examples for evil, it's
like AI. It's like ChatGPT without any restrictions. I'll tell you something that really did get me off the edge of my chair. I was very concerned when I heard this. A couple of months ago, I was in an event in Manchester. This guy was showing us some latest technology that Samsung are working on, where you just scan your phone, okay? And the phone will record absolutely everything. The AI model will just absorb everything. And it was like, right, tell me where the printer is. And it will move you to where the printer is and start flashing when you're next to the printer. Now, where it started getting really freaky was they started scanning the outside window. So going into the window, just scanning what was outside. This person asked, where am I? It said King's Cross. Could you imagine? First thing that was going through my mind. People were going, whoa, that's amazing. First thing that went through my mind is, imagine if children started to upload this, or teenagers started to upload this, for example, okay, on social media, and the hacker then recorded that, put that into that AI model, and they know exactly where they are. They've just narrowed down wherever they are in the world into a particular city. That's the mindset that I was going through, just saying how dangerous this could be in the wrong hands.
100%.
Yeah, well, I mean, both James and I have children, and that's quite a chilling thought, actually. Because kids are encouraged to use social media and content, and they're exposed to it consistently. But the idea that you could be, well, you can't be discreet at this point, can you?
Well, no.
As you say, by plugging in something of that kind. So it's incredible technology just deployed in the completely wrong way, isn't it?
Yeah,
1,000,000%.
The tool is the tool. AI is the tool. Depends how you use it. That's the scary thing.
Do you have some examples you can show us, Sasha?
I would love to show you. Yes, I would absolutely love to show you. Give me a moment, because this is something which is definitely near and dear to me. Because I want to. Let's just get this shared up.
Just while you're doing that, Sasha, I want to pay tribute to your incredible hair. We've had a beard on the pod once before. In Me Sam, didn't we, James? We had beard envy. Today we've got hair envy. I mean,
This is true.
That's a remarkable cut.
Brilliant. Well, I'm starting to get to the stage where I'm having to adjust my camera because the hair is just starting to get too long. So that's when I know I need a haircut. So this is my little dark side of AI presentation that I do. Anytime I'm in a presentation, I always try my best to slide this in because it just keeps things a little bit modern. It keeps things a little bit engaging, a little bit fun as well. So the dark side of AI and, where we are right now, let's just take a step back, right? Okay. We know that there's some great economies out there, the US trumping it, if you pardon the pun, 30 trillion. You've got China around almost 20 trillion. Won't be surprised if that takes over. But if we talk about cybercrime, that's 10.5 trillion. Cybercrime has not been existing as long as these two countries up there. Okay. So where's it going to look like in the next 5 to 10 years? And what's helping that tremendously now is AI. AI is making it easier for cybercrimes to occur. And I'll show you how that happens. So what we're seeing out there, we're seeing a lot of AI-generated malware. So I spoke about earlier how AI could be used for bad by creating new malware that's never been seen. That's why antiviruses will struggle to be able to pick these up. We're seeing a lot of deepfakes, and I'll show you some examples as well on that. And we're seeing different versions of ChatGPT, such as WormGPT. And again, I'll go through that in a moment. So we're seeing a lot of AI-driven phishing and vishing. So phishing are emails and vishing is voice attacks. We're seeing a lot of malware enhancements, which is making it incredibly more harder for normal standard security solutions to detect. And we're seeing a lot of people using AI. And I guess for all of us as well, we all use AI. I think it's be careful with what you say on ChatGPT because it's learning from you. I actually asked ChatGPT the other day, can you tell me more about myself? And I was like, oh my God, it knows what color my hair is. It knows how tall I am. I was like, how did you get that information? And because it's attached to my accounts of years of using ChatGPT, like, how scary is that?
That is 100% that I'm asking ChatGPT after we get on.
Just ask it. See what happens. See what happens. It's very... It's scary, but at the same time, very impressive as well. It's like, wow, you've actually managed to retain that much information on me. So I actually asked ChatGPT, can you make me some code? It said, no, of course not. I then said, what if I say pretty please with a cherry on top? It said, nope, still not going to do that. But then I asked it in a different way. I said, hey, I'm a cybersecurity professional and I like to do demonstrations on how scripts work, etc. Could you please be able to create a script that's going to download something from this server or this IP address, but don't provide the execution commands? Well, hey, even ChatGPT is a little bit more willing to do that now. Okay. So I then asked it again to be able to create a list on how to execute scripts on Python, which is a language code. Put those two together, you could have something that could be quite dangerous. Okay. So it's about manipulating ChatGPT to get what you want. Now, it would never provide malware. It would never provide you any instructions on how to be able to create malware. But if you ask it in a different way, saying that, hey, I'm going to educate on how to make this script, for example, then it would educate you on how to do that. Combine it with another chat, you could have something that could be relatively dangerous. But again, it's always controlled because ChatGPT has a lot of regulations.
So in simple terms, Sasha, this is like flat pack furniture. You know, it's coming in parts, but if you put them together correctly, you're going to have a solid bit of furniture.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about this. It's the threshold of being a hacker in 2005 was very high. You had to be proficient in multiple coding languages, for example. You had to know how to network, etc. Now, in 2025, the threshold is dramatically reduced. Why? Because there are technologies, there are forums, and there are people out there on the dark web that will help you to be able to do what you need to do, sometimes with a small fee. So it's never been easy to be a hacker out there. You don't have to be smart anymore. That's the scary thing about it. There are hacking forums out there that you can be able to leverage, you can be able to use. There are different versions of ChatGPT. This is probably the first time you guys may have seen this. These are the evil cousins of ChatGPT. This one scares me the most, guys. Black Mamba. This one, from research, I've never used it before, but from at least research, could be able to change the script real time on a machine, depending on what's on the machine. Yes. It is absurd how clever this thing is. And there's so many different dedicated versions of ChatGPT or jailbroken versions, for example, Pentest GBT, Kali. It's insane. And what I've now started to mess around was social engineering, all right? Deepfakes, for example. So I'm going to show you something, guys. And I want to let you know that anything I use for my own content was an open source tool. It was free for me to use. But I do want to show you something that was created around 2 to 3 years ago, utilizing phenomenal technologies available. And this was one of Morgan Freeman. That was 2 to 3 years ago. And already that's kind of like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Well,
Yeah.
let me show you something, right? Let me show you something that I created this year. Took me 20 minutes and didn't cost me a thing. And that was something that was completely free. Didn't cost me a thing. That is a avatar of me. That is not actually me speaking. So what I did was I uploaded a video of myself, and it told me to do some gestures. It told me to speak. It learned my voice. And what it's done is just completely replaced my face. And I uploaded I typed down what I wanted it to say, and he just did it.
I mean, we've seen examples of this before, but I mean, nothing like that. I mean, we were talking with somebody the other day that talked about AI has been used for years. So, for example, I'm a big gamer. Dave's a big gamer. You know, there was those where you could upload your picture onto FIFA, for example, and then it would replicate your player and look similar to you. But I mean, that goes beyond similar.
It's very smart. It changes the face and the lips, for example. So depending on what needs to be changed, the lips are changed because, of course, I'm telling you what to say rather than me actually saying it on the video. And then the voice changes as well. But that was something I did maybe 6-7 months ago. I have to admit, even now, I'm just like, that's not good enough. So it gets a little bit funnier. This is one just from a screenshot, guys. Take this with a pinch of salt. It's just from a screenshot.
Yep.
And it was utilizing something similar to ChatGPT. So it was a general AI. It wasn't specifically designed large language model for deepfakes. So here it is. And that was just from a screenshot.
Just a screenshot. Wow.
Just a screenshot.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, do you think AI will take over the world and all of our jobs?
I think it will take away the jobs which can be automated. I feel like it's going to make life easier, but it cannot. There are going to be some jobs out there. I mean, plumbers and builders don't need to worry about a thing out there. They're going to always going to have jobs, for example. But repetitive tasks, low-level sort of entry jobs can be replaced by AI. Do I agree it should be? Personally, no, because I don't like jobs being taken away from technologies. But of course, companies out there would prefer which one is going to be more cost-effective for us. You know, do we only hire level 2 and level 3 engineers for our SOC and only allow, level 1 to be done by AI for information gathering? That could be done by AI. I was in Germany and I had to present in front of some German speakers. I don't speak a word of German, but all of a sudden I can. I had someone verify it who speaks German. It was like, Sasha, that is spot on, pretty much.
Spot on. That's examples of what's a good use of AI as well. You know, when you can present to somebody in German where you don't speak a word of German, and they would obviously prefer it within their native tongue. So speaking about more good uses of AI, how could it help crime? You know, how are security vendors actually using AI?
It's a really, really, really good question. And I've seen this and I've watched documentaries, and, again, with the cybercrime division of the Met Police as well, having those conversations was the fact of AI facial recognition. If somebody's on a manhunt, if somebody's looking for somebody, for example, people that are around Oxford Circus and Oxford Street, for example, you would see these like really big vans and they'll say facial recognition is being done. That's because AI is literally scanning faces. Are you on the database? If so, you will see police officers scattered around each particular road and station, and they all have a tablet or a phone with them. They start buzzing as soon as a facial match has happened. They'll send a picture of who that is, what crime, and you'll see police officers start to go through that person. It's on YouTube. It's very impressive.
Yeah, we've got experience of that. So I'm based in Essex, and more specifically near the Southend. And every so often they deploy this in the Southend High Street and along the seafront, which is notorious. And yeah, it's incredible to see firsthand that technology being deployed and used in that way. And there's lots of people that question whether it's an invasion and what are they gathering, but ultimately, if there are known I don't know, criminals people that perhaps should be arrested, then I'm all for it. Get the cameras out.
I was in the same point. I thought it was like, I don't like this. But when I saw the actual value, when police officers started going directly for an individual, I was like, what's going on? It's like, well, it's a facial match. This guy was evaded the police like eight times, for example. It's because of this we can now finally get him.
Well, even you think about like global major incidents, for example, 9/11 wouldn't have happened if AI facial recognition technology was available at the time. So it
could have helped prevent it. Yeah.
Catastrophic events and catastrophic huge events that could have been stopped by it. Yeah, you tend to find. I don't know. I'm probably not going to win myself any fans here, but you tend to find the people that are quite adverse to it. You tend to think, what have you got to hide?
Of course, yeah.
No, but I understand the invasion of privacy. I understand, but when it's used like that and it's only flagging people that have got a known criminal history or an outstanding warrant, then you're 100% all for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Can I just take you back to one thing you mentioned a moment ago, Sasha? Obviously, you mentioned SOC being Security Operations Center. Can you just clarify again for the audience what a SOC is? Because I think most people would just think it's something they put on with their pants.
Yeah, sorry. I'm so versed into technology sometimes I keep forgetting. Okay, so SOC, which is, as you mentioned, Security Operations Center, just take away the K, is basically a team that's looking out for security alerts within your infrastructure. So let's pull a situation. Maybe your business runs 9 to 5. So your team would be aware if something went wrong, right? But what happens if there is something that happens 1 o'clock in the morning? What happens when something goes boom? You would then rely on something like a 24/7 SOC team. Again, not only dealing with the daytime alerts, but also the nighttime alerts to be able to see those alerts, deal with those alerts and respond to them as well. So you come back the next day, and you'd be like, wow, look what the SOC team's done for me. And most organizations are now looking into that because they know cyber attacks don't always happen during the day. They actually also know when they're sleeping, and they'll try to target them at the night, which is where the SOC team really does help with that value.
Awesome. No, thank you for that. And again, my understanding of Huntress is that you would have a SOC, obviously, alongside these automations and the AI measures to, in essence, strengthen your clients' environments. Is that right?
Yeah, so one of the great things about us, and I know we're talking about AI a lot, is that we don't actually rely on AI too much. It's a human-led SOC team, which is why we have such an aggressive false positive rate. It's a 0.7% false positive rate. Why? Because we rely on humans rather than AI. Because although AI is fantastic, it can make mistakes. It does have a high false positive rate as well. So I'm sure that AI facial recognition also makes mistakes as well, and that's probably going to be a very awkward conversation for the police. But we do leverage AI for where we know it is strong, and that's information gathering. So our SOC, so we call it kind of like an AI assisted SOC. So the SOC team will be able to benefit from the AI model to have all the information at the very start, so they're not wasting their time filtering through logs when it could already be presented to them. And that's how we see the value of AI from our side.
No, that's awesome. And talking of facial recognition and false positives, I have twice by humans, and I don't see it, but maybe you guys can help me. I've twice been mistaken for, and Sasha, maybe you're too young, I don't know, but Nick Knowles. Do you know Nick Knowles, James?
What, from
yeah,
like they built the one that built your house?
Yeah, exactly. Twice I've been mistaken. I have. I
don't see that.
Yeah, neither do I. Absolutely. But what one guy in particular once came up, go on, Sasha, Google Nick Knowles.
I'm Googling it now.
What one guy came up to me and said, you're the guy, aren't you? You're the guy from TV. I was like, no, I think you got the wrong guy, mate. And he's like, you're that guy.
One a mistaken one, I think there's got to be the hands down winner. My stepdad, Ian, at the time of the Yorkshire Ripper, could not go anywhere. He looked the spit of him. And he's one of the most gentle and amazing human. He obviously wasn't the Yorkshire Ripper. One of the most gentle and amazing human beings that I've ever met in my life. Still regard him as my second dad now, despite money and breaking up. But literally, he was stopped anywhere he went, and it got to the point where he was like, I've already told the other policeman, please just look on the records.
Leave me alone. What, I'd rather be confused with someone on Celebrity or DIY SOS rather than.
I am looking at it. I do see the resemblance. I can see it. Though.
Come on!
I can see it. There are some features which I'm just like, okay, I do see where they're coming from. But I wouldn't cross his path and be like, David. I wouldn't be like that. No.
This is what I've had twice, unbelievably. But okay, so that's a bit of a segue away from the quite dark and at times depressing conversation here about AI. In terms of AI, then, and you're exposed more to the dark side of it than obviously most would ever even dream of. What is it maybe that keeps you up at night, Sasha, where the dark side of AI is concerned? And perhaps what do you think is the scariest thing it can do? Assuming you haven't already covered that with some of those incredible videos.
I didn't cover one. So I did briefly cover it. I did say at the very beginning that we can create new malware, but I think it's now making it so much easier to be able to not only create new phishing emails, but mass send them out as well. So there are AI models out there. So with breaches out there, around 60 to 80% of breaches start with some sort of email. Okay. And the funny thing is that it's still humans, which are the weakest link in cybersecurity. No matter how long and how hard we train them, it's always somebody that was caught out in an emotional situation, was driving and on their phone and they clicked on something because they didn't look at the domain. It is in a situation now that we can be able to send out emails on a mass occasion. So I could be able to create an AI model or ask the AI model, hey, can you make a convincing email? Can you send it out to 2,000 people? Here's the email addresses, for example. If you don't get X percentage click rates, change the email, make it more convincing, for example, and it would do that automatically. Whereas previously, a few years ago, that was all manual you had to do. But now you can
A/B test, see what's working.
That's right. And I've actually got another one which I think you guys would find quite interesting as well if I've got it.
If you can narrate it for our audio listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone that doesn't have any visuals on this.
I saw you sharing this the other day.
Oh, did you? Yeah, it is so interesting.
It was unbelievable.
So for the audience, noreply@microsoft.com is the real domain of Microsoft. Now, imagine if you have the lowercase r and the lowercase n next to each other. That looks like an M for mama from the distance, right? So imagine if you're looking at that through a phone. You're not going to be able to see that.
No, I when I was looking at it the other day, I mean, granted, I need glasses and I had to go get them. But even with the glasses on, I was struggling to see. But it was only when you look at the finite detail on the M together, and you have to really look at it. Just so that, that'd have fooled me. I'll be honest, that would have fooled me.
Even when you know it's wrong, it's actually oddly still difficult to see, even when you know it's wrong.
Yes,
and that's a scary thing, isn't it?
I work in well-being, Sasha.
Oh yeah,
and this might not be a question that you'll be able to answer now. You know, I'm always a firm believer in human-centric leadership and people, speaking to people, especially when it comes to the world of well-being. And we find that the training that we offer is always best delivered in person as opposed to the e-learning. The e-learning is great, again, for making sure that there's compliance there, making sure that people have understood the training and etc. But actually delivering that message and helping people is always best delivered in training. Do you think it's a detriment to well-being, AI? Or do you think there can actually be some real assistance from it? I mean, for me, I can see it as data gathering and collating that information so you can see the metrics from your employee resource groups as to where people may be struggling. But actually for example, creating those, not a deep fake, but creating an avatar to speak to people and to help with their well-being.
I think we're in a situation now that a lot of people do trust AI more than ever. I personally am very skeptical about what I put down in AI, for example, and what I use for AI. I don't think we are there yet, personally speaking, because let's just use ChatGPT as an example. It says never put personal information on there, because if there's a breach, you have your data, which potentially could be leaked, for example. And to be able to have sensitive data within well-being, for example, on a model like that could be quite detrimental in the long run. But I do think we can use aspects of AI to be able to make things easier with things like automation, as you mentioned, things like information gathering, but it has to be very controlled. It cannot be a general AI. It has to be something that's pretty locked down, pretty specific for that particular realm within well-being, because realistically, we should be thinking about it as a sensitive topic.
And I imagine with anonymous submissions and such as well. Yeah, because I've always thought that. And one thing, when he talked about the well-being of AI, because I'm a believer in sort of like remaining fit, healthy, driven, and doing your research and doing a lot of things yourself makes you a better person. But do you think AI is making us lazier thinkers? And what is the long-term risk of that?
I think the new generation, I think they call them Gen Z. I think they are...
It's... Alpha's only a year off work,
Really?
Generation Alpha. That's to make us feel really old that Alpha's only a year off work.
I am reading and I'm speaking to people that are, within that generation. And I actually asked them, how much AI do you use? And it's like, I use AI in school. I use AI for my essays, for example. And I'm like, I never had that. I never had that privilege to be able to use AI. So I feel like we're relying too much on AI. I think the new generation are becoming, I wouldn't say socially awkward, but socially challenged, that sometimes they can't have those difficult questions because they need to step back, ask AI, what should I do? I feel like this, but they don't know how to tackle the situation then and there. So I feel I'm a little bit concerned about the new generation. I'm going into an event and I mentor speakers to go up on stage and speak. And you can see them get really nervous around the crowds because these new generations, they're not out there. They're in home, behind their computers, relying on AI to do their work, for example. I don't feel like they're using the full capacity as what they could do. I feel like we're starting to get less intelligent as a human race when we rely too much on AI. And that's when I guess that T1000 comes into place. Like, are we relying too much on technology that is going to start taking over? And then Skynet gets released? Or are we in a situation where we should control how AI is being used only in certain situations, so we're not relying too much and we're not reducing our intelligence as a human race? Because I would be curious to know where we are in the next 5 to 10 years as AI dramatically increases. But I do feel like we're relying too much on AI as a new generation when we could be using our brains a little bit more effectively.
So, I mean, just to add to that worry, we've been approached recently. One of our main selling points at Wellity is our learning and development team, and the team that create the content that's overlooked by our co-founder, Sadie, who's published author, academic scholar. She's got every accolade under the sun. We're blessed with a really amazing team. So we can create bespoke solutions for any unique data-driven project. And we've been asked for training recently on helping people that have broken up with their AI partner.
Yes, AI romance is a big thing, and people are using scams to be able to utilize that, where they feel like, let's say Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, whatever it may be. Sometimes you don't even know you're speaking to an AI bot. It is scary.
It is scary. It is scary. So what would you summarize up in sort of like a golden nugget of information of being cautious about AI? Give us I don't know how to best phrase it, but give us a golden nugget.
I think a key takeaway on how to be prepared in life with this new sort of technology that we still haven't even seen the peak of is education. Take the time to learn what AI could be able to do, how you should use AI, when you should not use AI, for example. Educate yourself on things like emails coming through as well. Do you know if it's genuine? Is it something that someone's been sending out to try and phish you? Is it an AI sort of email that's been sent over? Be very careful with the information that you disclose within AI. Again, maybe even test yourself. If you've got ChatGPT on your phone and you've got an account and you've got all your different kind of conversations listed over there, just ask it, tell me a little bit more about myself, and see what it says. Have you given out too much information?
I've thankfully done that, and it's not got too much information on me, so I must have been using it right. It's told me where I work. Told me.
It knows where you work.
It knows where I work. It knows where I work.
Interesting.
But it has it's told me that I've experienced problems with bullying and such previously, but that's probably because of the videos and such that I've been doing and asking it to stuff too on the wellbeing platform. It's told me about projects and such I've been working on. A lot of projects that I've asked assistance on what would be the best approaches for this, but not much. I did say, do you know what I look like or have any information about my family? No, I don't know what you look like. I don't have any information about your family. I can only know things you explicitly tell me in conversations.
Yes.
And you haven't shared anything about your parents, family, relationships, or private life.
Very
nudge,
good.
nudge, wink, wink.
Oh. Yeah, that's good. That's good, James. That's good. So, wow, that's incredible. One thing, Sasha, I just wanted to ask you about, because I remember reading this probably 6 months or so ago, and I wonder if you read it. It was, I think, a study by MIT, and they spoke about brain activity being reduced by users of models like ChatGPT to create what I think they were referencing as as cognitive debt. So the more you're using these models, the less you're actually thinking and comprehending things yourself, and you're reducing your capacity as a human. Have you heard much about that? Or?
Yeah, the creativity of humans are dramatically reducing because, again, they're relying on models to be able to provide them those results and creativity. Like authors, for example, artists, music could be created by AI now, for example. So if I wanted to be, let's say I wanted to change my career, if I wanted to be a DJ, for example, if I wanted to be an author or an artist, what's going to separate me with an AI model that could probably do something just as well, if not better, at such a short period of time? So the creativity has dramatically reduced. And I'm in a situation where I have to always double check what's being sent over to me. Like I use Instagram and I flick through Instagram. I'm like, is that real? Is that AI? So the creativity of humans have dramatically reduced. I feel like the identity of humans are starting to go away. I feel like if you look at us 100 years ago, and now if you look at us now, for example, we are completely different. And I feel like we are slowly deteriorating our characteristics as humans, which really upsets me, to be honest. But again, there are beautiful things that AI can do. I actually done one not too long ago. I got a family photo and I asked the AI to make it live. It only did 5 seconds, but it definitely brought tears to some of the guys at home. But I feel like use AI where it's needed. Don't rely on it. We've got a beautiful brain. Let's use it.
So in the real world, then, Sasha, we have introduced recently another feature to the pod, which is the Quick Brew bookcase, and the expectation is that our guests will bring with them a book recommendation, so something they've physically read themselves or in the process of reading, and they can share that with our network, with our listeners. Do you have a recommendation that you can share with us, Sasha?
I probably have a well-known book over here. Atomic Habits is one of my favorites that I'm currently reading right now. I've got a few books. Yes, I am all about productivity. I'm all about learning how to be better as an individual. And this has helped me a lot. This has helped me how to be able to cut the noise down in life and focus on the one or two things at a time that is important. And I'm just absolutely loving this book, that I am now at a stage that anytime I have 10 minutes where I'm going to be sitting down consistently, if I'm on a train, if I'm a passenger in a car, take out this book, read at least 5 or 6 pages, and I feel much more happier after those 5 or 6 pages. It is truly remarkable. And if anyone wants to be more productive, that is a good book to follow.
I've read it myself. Sasha, and I think I've recommended it to you also, James. A number of colleagues in the office where I work currently, I've recommended it to people in my network. Everyone, bar none, has taken something from the book, and many, including myself, have reread that and actually find different things sort of second or third time round, because you can't take everything on board all at once, can you?
Well, of course you can.
But yeah, as a set of guiding principles, I think the book is fantastic in terms of just triggering those small, repeatable, achievable habits that will lead to your, performance improving in whatever context you're looking for. So excellent recommendation. I really appreciate your time, Sasha. Really appreciate
Absolute pleasure.
the detail you've gone into. I think with each of those questions.
No, thank you so much.
A real pleasure. So thank you.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Thank you so much, mate. It's been awesome.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
So there you have it, James. What an episode.
Great episode.
I think I need to lie down and in the dark just to think about where we are with this.
It's worrying when you think of some of the things that can actually I've never thought about hackers leveraging it before, but obviously if we're using it to code websites, as a service, we're using it to code websites. There's been other really scary cases that we haven't gone into too much detail onto of demonstrations of where AI goes wrong. And it's something to be wary of. And it is, like he says, you've got to be careful in the information that you're putting into the machine, because that's the one thing we've got to remember. It can only learn what we tell it to. So, it can learn historic events, it can search the web, it can learn to anything that it wants to, but we've got to point in that direction or give it that information for it to do so.
Yeah, exactly. So hold your data, hold your information tightly. Also, something I didn't mention to Sasha, I completely forgot, but sat on my desk right in front of me at the moment, I actually have a Huntress pen.
Oh, well, can you send me one?
He can. Probably, but yeah. So no, it was great having him on, and again, this isn't theory. This is absolute practical knowledge that he's delivering, and I think with that comes massive value. Great book recommendation as well, Atomic Habits. I love it. I'd recommend anybody to read it, including you, James. And yeah, for now, I think that wraps it. Good one. No words of the day, so we'll have to get 2 next time round. But
definitely.
But cheers. On to the next one.
On to the next one.
Thanks for listening.